Are you looking for a software to help you with compliance? Yes. There is one tool called OpenSCAP, and basically OpenSCAP is a tool that you can use via CLI, but hear me out. In Satellite, you have the ability to use OpenSCAP via webUI. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up properly your Satellite and also your content host in a way that you can use OpenSCAP, set up OpenSCAP, and generate amazing reports that will help you in your daily basis tasks. So let's go to the video. Here we have one satellite. So let me show you this scenario. This is a very basic scenario, like we have one satellite and two content hosts. But the approach that we'll be using here is the same for 10, 100,000, 10,000 content hosts. So similar idea. At this moment, this is a brand new satellite, fresh install. So there is nothing like I have some content views, I have the repositories, but I have nothing related to OpenSCAP. And here we can see the terminal. So I have a terminal to my satellite server. I can type foreman maintain service status-b. We can check the status of the satellite server. Everything seems to be fine. And via hammer ping, you can also see that everything is okay. This is a terminal to the first client. We have one client, rel 8, and I have another one, rel 9. And hear me out, I would like to ask your help at this moment, because you can see this terminal is white, the background is white, and the font color is black. The opposite of this, the background is black, and the font size or the foreground is not totally white, but it is clear. So let me know down below in the comments, which one do you prefer? Which one is better for your eyes when watching my videos? Something like this with black background, or something like this with white background? So we'll be running some comments on those of them, and based on that, let me know. I would love to hear from you guys, and definitely this will help me to set the next videos, which kind of terminal I'm going to be using. All right. Great. Returning to Satellite, the first thing that I would like to recommend is always our documentation. So we can access docs.redhat.com, click on Explore All Products, click on Red Hat Satellite, and here you can search by SCAP, and you see this specific chapter. So we have one specific chapter just talking about compliance, and in this case, SCAP. I always recommend you guys to click on this single page. This is nice because you can type Ctrl F and you can see the whole page, the entire document. And one thing that I would like to mention here is spend some time, read the whole document, because this document has a lot of things, a lot of very important information. You can see the acronym, you can see the types, you can see all the policies, you can see different kind of hardenings. So yes, this is pretty useful. One thing that I would like to get your attention here is about the type of deployment. So basically we have three types, one using Ansible, another one using Puppet, another one doing the manual. We will start by the manual configuration, but you see that this is so hard because we have a lot of things to do and we are lazy. We like to automate stuff. So from this, we will be jumping to Ansible, and I will not be covering Puppet in this video, but just to let you know, you are able to, if you wish. If there is no way to automate via Ansible or Puppet, you still can be doing this via a manual operation or manual steps. With that said, let's come back to Satellite. On the main page, left menu, let's click on Hosts, Compliance. And here is the place about compliance. Basically, let's start by SCAP content. And as you can see, there is no SCAP content. I can click on new SCAP content, and eventually I can upload the SCAP content. I can download this from different sites or different sources, but at this moment, I'll keep this very, very simple. One thing that I would like to show you here on this terminal, let me clean up the terminal. And if we check this URL, you can see that I have already some files, XML files for rel 6, 7, 8, and 9. Basically, this is already available in our satellite, but it is not available via webUI. So how can I enable this feature via webUI? In your satellite, just execute the hammer command. We have this hammer SCAP content or hammer SCAP-content bulk-upload --type default. So basically what this is gonna do is this is gonna import this information and we'll turn this available on satellite. This is basically the only thing that we need to do on satellite at this moment. We have this configuration over here or this command. We can reload this page and then there you go. Now I'm able to see those contents. I can see for Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 6, 7, 8, and 9. And if I wish, I can just click here on download and I should be able to download this to my local file system and analyze, play with. But again, I will keep this video very simple, straight to the point. Okay, we executed this step. What now? What is the next step? Let's return to the documentation and let's take a look here on those different types, as I mentioned before. This is for Ansible. We will not talk about this yet. This is for Puppet, and this is for manual operation. Whenever I'm doing the manual operation, I can open this link. And eventually you need to log in because this is one article outside of this documentation. And in this document, check this out. We have here the information, what will be necessary or what will be imported to satellite for RHEL 9, RHEL 8, RHEL 7, the repositories that I need to enable on my satellite. Then I can execute this command. And this was the same as we executed a few minutes ago. There are some additional steps, creating policies. We will be passing through all of them. But what I would like to get your attention here is this. We have some commands, some curl commands. So basically, we are running curl against satellites. You can see the satellite over here. We have some endpoints, and we have some information that we need to pass. Whenever I do this, I can see this pipe and passing this through Python 3-m JSON.2. This is just to format the output. But basically here, I can get one specific information, which will be the ID of the policy. And then I can get some additional information. I can get the profile ID. I can get the digest. I can get the digest of the tailoring file if I'm using one of them. So those are the steps that I need to do to collect some information. After that, I need to go on my client, RHEL 9, RHEL 8, RHEL 7. Let's use RHEL 8 for this example. I need to enable some repositories. This is base OS, AppString. And here, this is important because I need a package from this repository, Satellite Client 6. Then whenever I enable this repository, I can install this package, rubygem-foreman_scap_client. This is going to install the client that we need to work with OpenSCAP. And with that, I can create one file, etc foreman_scap_client config.yaml. And inside this YAML file, I'm gonna copy all this content over here, paste, and then I will override some information. For instance, the server entry. I need to set the FQDN of my satellite server or the OpenSCAP capsule server. In this case, in this scenario, I have just satellite, so this will be the satellite server. You can see that we have some additional fields here like this. So I need my policy ID, I need my profile ID, I need my digest. And then again, digest, policy ID, digest. So as you can see, this is too much work. This is a lot of manual steps. And this is not all, because after that, I need to create my cron job. There is a recommendation underneath etc cron.d that let's create a file called foreman_scap_client_cron. And the content of this file will be something like this. So basically, I need to create my cron job, how often I would like to collect this information, upload this to satellite. And here will be basically the guy that will be doing all the work for us, that will be collecting this process or collecting this information and uploading this to the capsule, in our case, to satellite. Once you have all this done, you can give it a try. And how to do that? Form a SCAP client, DS, and then the policy ID. This is the whole manual step. And as you can see, this is prone to issues. But again, if you like to automate this process, you can. If I were you, I will not spend 1 minute on this because I'm going to show you how to do this in an automated way. We have this already. So don't spend too much time on this, only if you need. This is your last instance, all right? Great. We are here. Let's just get rid of this now. Let's come back to satellite. And now I'm going to show you how to work with this configuration. We imported the SCAP content, and this will be the first step. Let me bump this a little bit. We imported the content. This will be one shot, and that's it. Like I have this imported content. My next step is to create a policy. And what is the policy? The policy is the guide that I will define some information in a way that will help me with my goal. Let me show you, or with my needs. Let me show you one example, and this will be clear. I have some compliance requirement for my environment, and this compliance requirement is STIG or STIG. So I need to run some tests. I would like to know how my machine is covered by STIG. Basically, this is my necessity, my goal. From here, let's create this policy. This will be my first policy. We have the manual, we have Puppet, we have Ansible. And then, okay, I saw the manual steps. That was too much. I don't want to do that because I have one sort of automation. And if you're willing, which kind of automation? Let me show you one example. I'm going to put this one here. I have 2 content hosts. I know that my environment is running remote execution. I can click on select action just to be sure. Schedule remote job. I'm going to use commands. That's okay. And for this one, I'm just going to type date and run on selected hosts. My expectation is this. Satellite will be able to connect to the clients, the content host, execute, and then we can see the success. Is this working fine properly? I can double check. So yes, this was able to get the date or run the dates on that machine, same as here. So this is working fine. This is the first step because I have this partially set up to this kind of automation, okay? So I don't want to use manual. I will pick Ansible. There is a trick here, but you see in 1 second or maybe less. Yeah, look at that. What this guy is telling us is, hey, required Ansible role the foreman dot foreman underscore SCAP underscore client was not found. Please ensure it is imported first. What this guy is telling us is this. I need one specific role in a way that I can deploy this configuration in your content host. I know that you have already your remote execution up and running, but I need this role. I have another video here talking about Ansible roles in Satellite, how you can manage, how you can handle. But for the sake of this video, let's go straight to the point. How can I import this role? Let's click on Configure on the left menu, Ansible Roles. As you can see, there is no role over here. Let's click on this blue button, import from the name of your satellite, in my case, sat01.king.lab. And from here, you can see that I have different roles. Should I import all of them? If necessary, yes, but for the sake of this video, this is the one that we need. So I can just check this one, scroll to the bottom, hit submit, and that's it. This is all. So first we run that hammer command, this one over here, hammer scap-content, bulk-upload, --type default. This was necessary to import the configuration about compliance SCAP contents. We did this one. After, we imported the Ansible role. And how was that? Configure on the left menu, Ansible roles. Click on the blue button, import from the name of your satellite, and we selected this one, the foreman.foreman_scap_client. And then we imported. That's it. Now we can come back to the hosts, compliance, policies, and we can create our policy. So let's create our policy. Let's pick Ansible. and now you see that this will pass with no problem. So that warning is like a friendly warning, just to keep in mind that you need to import that role prior to do this configuration. If you have already that role in your satellite, will pass like this, no additional information or no request at all. But if you do not have that role imported in your satellite, it is just a warning, say, hey, my friend, go on, import this role, and then come back. Cool. We are here. What is the name of the compliance? For the sake of learning, you can use any name, but my advice, this should be something that is related to your needs. In other words, let me use this as STIG rel 8, or let me put in lowercase, rel 8. I know that I'll be working with STIG. This is my goal, the information that I'm looking for, and I'm creating this for rel 8. I have this necessity. As you saw, I have rel 7 and rel 8. I have both scenarios over here. See, this is rel 8, this is rel 9. But again, I'm creating one specific rule for one specific base OS version, or in this case, rel 8. Let's click on next. Here is the deal. I should pick the version I'm working on. So as you know, this is for rel 8. Whenever I pick the version I'm looking for, I have different profiles. And as you can see, we have different kind of profiles. ANSSI, you can see CIS, also PCI, also STIG for rel 8, and STIG with UI or GUI for rel 8. So in my case, all my servers, they have no interface at all. It is just a base OS, no interface. So I'm gonna be using this one. You can also filter here if you wish, like STIG or PCI. Then this is a nice tip, but I'm gonna be using this one. And there is no tailoring file, so I can just hit next. Schedule. This schedule, it's like this. I'm gonna deploy this configuration on the client and how often I would like the client to be uploading this information to satellite. This can be daily, this can be weekly, bi-weekly, whenever. I can also set a custom configuration, a custom cron job. For now, let me show all of them. We have weekly, and then I can pick the day of the week. I can get monthly, and then the date of each month. Or I can say custom, and then, as you can see, I can set one custom date for this specific job. For now, we'll be changing this in a few, but let me put weekly, and then Sunday. Location and organization will be the standard that I'm using. This is just taxonomy. I will not change the location and organization. You can see over here. And we can also play with host groups in a way that I can create one host group to work with security stuff. We will be covering host group in this video as well. Not now, because this is the base configuration just to do direct in the content host, specifically in content host. We'll be returning to this configuration during the video, but for now, no host group at all. And then submit. Okay, we are almost there. Then you can see that we have this as STIG. Anytime I can click over here and I can change, I can update if necessary. I can see the general, the contents, the schedule, location, organization, and also host group. I will not change anything over here. I'm gonna move this one and coming back to this, and now how this works. We have this machine. Let me show you one point. This is a very common information. As you can see, this OpenSCAP capsule server, this is not selected. Eventually, this can cause some problems. I'm gonna talk about this, but I would like to enforce, to guarantee that this is selected properly. So I can select the server and submit, and that's okay. Now, if I come back, I can see that OpenSCAP capsule, or the server, the capsule for OpenSCAP, is selected. Another information that I would like to mention here is this. I can edit, and in Ansible role, you can see this role, Form SCAP client. This is the role that we enable on satellite. Should I add this one on this machine? Yes, definitely. I need this Ansible role in a way that the satellite will be able to deploy this role on these specific content hosts. So we have this role, assign and submit. So basically what we did here, like I submit twice, I should be doing this in one single shot if I want, but this is just for let you know all these steps. So let's review. One is OpenSCAP capsule server or OpenSCAP capsule. We set the OpenSCAP capsule for this machine. Then we came to Ansible role and we set the Ansible role for this guy. That's it. Whenever I did this, let's do a double check. I can click on Ansible. Now I can see that role in this page, which is good because I assigned this one, and I can click on variables. And look at that. Sometimes this will happen and we have already an issue that will fix this one. So eventually, whenever you're watching this video, maybe this issue will be already fixed. But if you see a behavior like this, let's suppose you open your machine, you click on Ansible, variables, and this is empty. This is not appearing. This will cause some problems because whenever the satellite tries to deploy this configuration, those information will be empty or will not be around. And what will happen is your client, in this case node 01, this guy will not be able to set up properly and upload this information back to satellite. So how can we fix that? One way is I can click on this pen button and type set01.king.lab. Click on this check. That's okay. Let's do this one, 9090. Set this one. This is okay. I can do that, but again, I'm lazy. I will not recommend you this one. I'm gonna show you something easier. So let me delete this because this will come back to the previous state. Like this, let's suppose that you are in this situation, like me a few seconds ago, and again, right now, let's click on edit. You can see that I have my capsule set. I'm gonna clean this up, hit submit. If I click on Ansible and variables once again, this is still empty. That's okay. Let's click on edit one more time. Let's pick the capsule, submit. Are you ready? Let's click on Ansible, variables, voila. Check this out. We return it to the content host, we re-enable or remove it and re-added that capsule, and this information was populated automatically or automatically. This is a bug, this is one issue, and definitely we will improve this configuration. If you have already the capsule, that information should be here with no necessity of additional steps. So, but yeah, at this moment, this is the workaround. This information will not vanish after this time, and that's it. This is everything that we need. Okay, we have this one, and I can just click on this drop-down menu and run all Ansible roles. What this is gonna do is exactly this one. This will create a job. So let me come back to this tab. Let's take a look on the jobs. We can see the job is here. If you like to see the job, you can click on the content host. I really love this toggle because I can see what's going on. We can see that we are applying the role, and basically the role is this one, Foreman Ansible roles. This role will deploy all the configuration that we need about SCAP client. So check this out. It is installing this package. It is getting all the configuration. It is doing everything, and it seems to be fine. Let's double check. You don't need to do this in your environment, but once we are here learning and we like to see what happened under the hood, this is definitely a nice thing. etc Foreman SCAP clients. This is the configuration file. This configuration file was not here. This was deployed because of that playbook, that Ansible. Let's take a look on this file. We can see a big warning. Hey, do not edit this file, because if you do, next time that you redeploy this configuration, the Ansible is going to override the configuration information over here. So you can see that we have the SAT01, the port is 990. This is coming from those variables, the information that we have over here. If we scroll down, Look at that. There is no policy. This is basically empty. I just was able to deploy this configuration, but there is no policy associated to this machine. Yes, that's right. So let's come back to the host page. And now I'm going to show you how you can associate or how you can assign one policy to your client. Let's click on hosts, all hosts. Let's pick the client once again. This is the client. Select action, drop down menu, and you can see this assign compliance policy. I can definitely pick the policy I want to apply on that server. This is the one, STIG rel 8. I can select and submit. And now this was assigned to that guy, to that specific content host. All right, if I came here and see, I cannot see any change. This is still the same. Yes, this is still the same because you need to redeploy that configuration. And how to do that? Run Ansible roles. Any change that you do in your satellite webUI, you need to redeploy this configuration, okay? So we have this one, this job. Let me check the new one. This is the new job. We can follow the trace. We can see what's going on here. Let's scroll down. There you go. We have the configuration. If we return to the client and see once again, I can see this information is still here. But now check this beauty. We have the number one. This is the policy. We have the digest. We have the ID. We have all the information populated automatically. And again, I didn't execute any cur command, or I don't do this manually. I'm lazy. I'm totally lazy. So this is the best approach. This is the best way to implement this kind of configuration, believe me. And now we can give it a try. There is one more entry that was created with this automation, cron.d. And here we can see, let's take a look on Foreman. Again, this file will be managed by Ansible. Do not change this one. If you like to change this frequency, how often this machine will be uploading this information to your satellite, do this via webUI and redeploy the configuration. Do not do this from here. Let me do one thing. I'm gonna copy this command, paste, and then we can see like this line. Let me run this command manually. I said this is the way that we have to give it a try, and this is also in our documentation. Anytime that your clients check this information in the cron job, this is what will happen. The client will download the profile, then we will execute this command. Hey, Wally, can I copy this command and run this manually on my client? Definitely, yes. You can definitely do that. But this will be doing more. This will be collecting this information. A response file or a result file will be created. This result will be compressed, and this will be uploaded to satellite. And then we'll be playing with this response or this data on satellite webUI, which is amazing, pretty cool. See, we are compressing this one here using bzip2, and then uploading these results to satellite. Let's come back to satellite. Let me open a new tab over here. Now we can click on hosts, compliance, reports, and look at that. So look at that. Now we have this beauty report, and I can say that my node 01 of rel 8 was reported like less than a minute ago. This is the policy in question. See the meaning of the name. In this case, I know this is for STIG. If I'm looking for PCI, this will help me with this kind of reporting. And any other kind of policy, the nomenclature will be very useful when applying some filters and play around. I can see the OpenSCAP capsule. Eventually you have different capsule servers, and the OpenSCAP will be running on that specific capsule. Capsule 01, 02, 03. So yes, you can see here which capsule was responsible to receive that information. And the most important, based on STIG for rel 8, how many tests pass? 125. How many of them fail? 231. And other, 10. All right, two things here. One is I would like to get this report via CLI. Can I do that? Definitely, my friend. Let's come back to satellite. Let me paste this command. Basically, this is hammer -csv because this is gonna give you a CSV format, arf-report list. And then I can see the ID, when this was reported. We have the date over here, the host name, we have the name of the client, the OpenSCAP proxy, the capsule server in this case, or the capsule of OpenSCAP, policy name as STIG for rel 8, pass, fail, and other. And then I have those numbers, 125, 231, and 10. This is amazing. This is gorgeous because now I'm able to create different kind of reporting or different kind of reports that will help me with this compliance stuff. This is one question. The second question, normal question, is can I see a full report? Definitely, you can. So let's open this report. This is gonna give us some idea or the complete idea about what is passing, what is failing, and the most important of this report, in my opinion, is the remediation, how to fix. This is amazing. So let's scroll down. You can do things like this. You can collapse or you can just close all of them. This is gonna give you some idea about the main topics. And then you can see, okay, I have 126 fail here, 32 here, and this is underneath service, this is underneath system settings. So you can play around with this, but let me show you this one. For STIG on rel 8, this is one amazing tool. 8 is a requirement. And we can see this is failing because 8 is not present. Can I get some additional information? Yes, just click on top of this. You can see a lot of information here. If we scroll down, you can see some remediation. I can remediate this via shell script. And look at that beauty. I can just copy this one, go to my client, copy and paste, execute it, and then next time I run my profile or I run my job, my schedule, this will pass because now 8 is installed. If I'm not using Bash, but Ansible, I can do the same. This is just like a task, and this task is a package. The name is 8. The state is present, so okay, install this one. I have some tasks here, and that's it. I have some tags. Those are not required, but this is very, very useful. And you can see that we have this for different approaches or different ways. Like this is for Puppet. If you have Puppet in your environment, you can use this. This is for Anaconda during the installation of the machine. This is for OS build. And this is basically a remediation script, like very simple package install 8. In our case, most of the time, we will see customers using this one, shell script. Okay, we have this one, we have this information. I can come back and I can see the next one. Similar idea. Eventually, you see something like this. This one has no OS build or Anaconda because there is no way to do this during the Anaconda or OS build process. But most of the time, you see shell script or Ansible because this will allow you to remediate the issue that you're facing in order to get a high score or less fail in your compliance environment. Okay, I believe you got the point here. This is good. And I can see already a lot of requests for enhancement. Like my mind is just popping up some options. For instance, if you ask me, okay, is there a way to generate a single script that will fix all the issues that are failing? We don't have it. Like there is no way to do this right now. Is that a good request for enhancement? For me, for sure. But let me know down below in the comments, what do you think? What do you think about a nice feature that should be here in this place? Because yes, I'm so excited. Let's see one more thing here. I would like to check this cron job. So let's take a look on this cron job. Instead of weekly, I would like to change this to, for instance, every minute. Can I do that? This is very neat. So let's take a look. Compliance, policies. This is the policy in question. And we are talking about schedule. So is there a way that I can put like every minute? Definitely yes. Click on custom. Custom will be exactly as your cron job. And I can set something like this. This will be executed every single minute. Then submit. And if we take a look here, look, nothing's gonna happen. And why is that? You know already. We just changed this on satellite webUI. And then I have to redeploy this configuration on that content host. And how can I do that? So I can do from here. Let's do from here now. Select action, run all Ansible roles. Then again, what this is gonna do is we'll create a job. This job will be calling that specific play. And now we have a new specific time or often for this specific server. But look at that, this is failing. We see this pass, but the information here, yeah, see, all the time, all of us are open to issues because this is a rel 9 and that one is not a rel 9. I'm sure about that. What happened is I selected the wrong one. So let's pick the correct one. Select action, run all Ansible roles. As I said before, this will call this play, will deploy the configuration. If we have any change on this policy, specifically about the time, as we know, see, this will be executed every minute. And then, okay, we have this cron job. This is gonna change the time in a few seconds. And what I expect to see eventually in 2 or 3 minutes is something like this. In my hosts compliance reports, we should be able to see like new reports. And eventually every single minute, I will be able to see new reports on this page. This is exactly what will happen. Maybe not now, but this will happen soon. Okay, for this rel 8, we did a long ride just to understand the process, understand all the detailed steps or detailed information. Now let's do this for rel 9, and then I'm gonna go straight to the point. So again, I don't need to worry about the SCAP content. This will be a single shot. Let's create a new policy. I'm gonna copy this one because I'm lazy. This will also be using Ansible. The name here will be STIG for rel 9. If you wish, you can put some description. I will not. In SCAP content, I'm gonna pick rel 9. And here, let me use this filter. We have this STIG. And again, I have no UI on this server, so this is okay. Let's click on next. The schedule, now you know, like eventually in a regular daily basis, in a regular environment, we don't see this every single minute. This is not expected. I'm just doing this for the sake of this video, but will be something like weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. So will be simple to set something like every Sunday. Let me collect this information, generate a new report, and then I can have an idea about my environment. But once we are here and we enjoy this kind of stuff, let me put also every single minute. So the location, organization will be all good, the same. And yet I have no host group, which means I'm going to assign this directly to my content host. We are here, I create my compliance. I came back, this is rel 9. So I can pick this machine, select action, assign compliance policy. Hey, can I pick rel 8? Nope, this is rel 9. So stick with rel 9, avoid some issues. This was assigned, this STIG or SIG for rel 9 was assigned to this machine. Let me double check that information. see the OpenSCAP capsule is not selected, so this information will be empty. And Ansible role. See, I have no Ansible role here. This is gonna fail if I do not select this one. Then there you go. This is everything that I need. If I came to Ansible, variable, look at that. Now I have the information. Because of the order that I did here, I have this information, but eventually, as I mentioned before, on that bug, this will be empty, and you know already what to do. But once we are here, that's okay. Let me just run Ansible roles. Then what will happen? This guy is gonna connect to the client, create a job. Let me check the job. This is the job in question. We can see what's going on. If you would like to know more, the commands, the play, the Ansible, you can click on toggle command. Okay, this configuration was applied. Let's do a double check. And this is the time that you tell me this screen is better or worse than the previous one. I can see better or maybe not. So etc, foreman, SCAP clients. Okay, we have that config file over there. I can see the information here. This is accurate. And at the bottom, look at that. I have the ID, the policy, the digest. I have the whole information here. So this was set up properly. Let's take a look on the cron job. etc, cron.d, and then foreman. And I can see that foreman is also here. So let's give it a try. Again, this will execute this command locally in the client. In the end, we'll compress and we'll upload to satellite server. And on satellite, we can click on hosts, compliance, reports. Let's refresh, and then there you go. So this was the first one. This was a few minutes ago, or less than 1 minute ago. This is already part of the cron job. Now the cron job is working. And this is the current implementation that we did. You can see the pass information here is different, the number, because they are different machines. That is okay. But for the sake of rel 8, you can see the number are still the same. I didn't do any change. If we take a look here once again, let me show this. We can see that the cron job is for every minute. So in other words, we went to the webUI in the policy, we set the custom frequency, how often this will be executed every minute. And this is the configuration that is already in place in the local cron job on that specific content host. And this is working. In a few minutes, we can come back here and we can see some additional information. For example, this was 1 minute ago, and then this is less than a minute ago. And this is the way, like every minute, a new entry will appear soon for the rel 9 as well. And this is the expected behavior. Returning to your satellite, let's rerun. I will not clean up the screen yet, but let me show you this. You can see that we have a similar information from that webUI. Eventually, you can see rel 8, rel 8, rel 9, node 02, and then rel 8. You can apply some filters. What I personally like to do is I can generate this one like a CSV, and I can apply all the filters that I need on my CSV, on my spreadsheet. And this can be LibreOffice, can be Google Spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel, doesn't matter the product, but I can play with that product in a way that I can say something like, in my week 1, my node 1 presented 231 fails. And then next week, this went down to 200. Next run, next week, or a few days later, this went down to 100, something like that. So you can create a line, graph, this kind of stuff, but feel free to use this information. Let me give you a bonus. Here, as any part of satellite, you can create with you can be working with the wizard, and I can do something like this. Host equal, let's say that I would like to work with my rel 8 only, and look at that beauty, 1, 2, 0 basically. Let's say that I would like to get this information here for any specific reason. I can copy this one. I can go to my hammer, -- search. double or single quotes, and I can paste. Let me create some space. And again, I will not clean up the screen. Then you can have an idea. If you see, this is only row 8. So I have now the information only for row 8. So again, feel free to use your creativity and also the power of this wizard to create some queries that you believe to be interesting to your use case. You can also add some additional like regular expression over here and play around. Just let me know down below in the comments if you have any question or concerns. All right, right now we can see this is working. We have node, let me do this, host tilde node 01. This is all for row 8 and node 02, 1, 2, 0. Eventually this will be 1, 2, 3, so forth, so on. All right, this is amazing. Let me show one more feature based on this configuration. I'm gonna close some stuff here, including the documentation. We don't need them anymore. Let's stick with rel 8. And we can see those numbers, pass, fail, and other. And I would like to fix some stuff. I would like to see this live. How can I fix this behavior? So first, let's check the full report and let's do our homework. Let's say that I have my manager saying, hey, Wadi, I need to fix some issues because those machines, or this machine specifically, has to be in compliance with PCI or STIG in this case. And doing this analysis, I can see everything that is failing. Some of them will require some restart and some things like that. But let's start from here. So I came to my team and said, hey, are you familiar with AIDS? Not at all. Have no idea. Okay, let's do our research. Let's understand. Let's watch some videos about this. Let's take a look on Wally's YouTube channel. And then, okay, now I have an idea. This is good. And also this is part of the STIG. So we need to do this. How can I fix this on my servers, on my content host? I'm working on this node, right? Yes, you know that. So let me open this node over here. You know that we have this feature, schedule a job. So let me click on schedule a job. Let's click on next. This is the host in question. And what I would like to do is this, install aid. Let me scroll down. Remediation via shell script. I can copy this one. Came here, paste. Really? Is this gonna work? Definitely, my friend. If you have no idea about this, again, this is the time that you need to smash the button and subscribe to this channel. This was just to install aid. So the next one, I need to build a database. And again, remediation is script. So you got the drill here, you got the point. I can copy and paste this in my text editor. No need to go straight to my machine in this case, because I can deploy this in multiple servers at the same time. So I don't need to copy and paste all the time to all of them. I can select multiple servers over here. But this is just to show you how simple it is to do this kind of configuration and remediation. And doesn't matter how much code we can see here. This is not a big deal. Okay, I will not add all of them. I believe I added up to here. I can add one more, ACL. And let's copy, paste. And if you take a look, we have a lot of code here. And I can just run on selected host. Basically, what this is doing is this will execute all the steps, everything that we copied and pasted, and will fix a lot of stuff for us. So I'm gonna keep this one here for now. I believe we have maybe some new configuration. Okay, they are still the same, 125 pass, 231, all the same, nothing changed yet. Let's take a look on this. This task is still running. We cannot see all the output because we are not printing all the outputs. based on the remediation code, but some of the commands of that remediation will print out some information, and we should be able to see in the end of this process. See, we can see now the output of 8, some information, exit status 0, which means the task was concluded successfully. And let's now refresh this page. Look at that. We have 125, 126, and then you say, okay, this is weird because we have some additional tests. Let me open this one here as well. So this was the original one, or initial one. This is the one that we just opened. And then, okay, something's wrong because I know for sure that I copied the code from install 8, build a database, up to the ACL. So something is not right. Something is wrong. So let's wait for a few seconds, maybe, and check this out. Fail was 231, and now failing is 226. Before, passing was 125, and now we have 130. And if I open the full report for this one right now, and scroll down, there you go. You can see that we have just one here failing. If we return to the first, all of them were failing. We skipped the first or the last one on purpose, because if everything passed, this will just collapse and will just vanish from this view. I would like to keep at least one here just to present like automatically when opening this page. But you can see how easy it is to remediate issues like this. Basically copy and paste and execute this on your host. Again, I run this against one specific content host, but you can run this against 1, 10,000, 10,000. Will be the same effort. No big deal at all. And if we come back to this page now, look at that. If I refresh, I can see 1 minute for row 8 and 9, 2 minutes, rate and 9, 3 minutes, 8 and 9, 4 minutes, 8 and 9. Again, the schedule that will be on the policy will be the schedule that will be deployed to your content hosts like this. And this is what will define how often your content host will be uploading the information to your satellite. Are we good? Cool. This was the manual steps. Okay, so first, let me edit this one. I'm gonna remove the role from here. And I will also remove the SCAP from here on purpose. This is for rel, this is rel 8. Let's do the same on rel 9. I'm gonna remove, and I will remove the OpenSCAP capsule. Okay, both of them, I have no SCAP server and I have no Ansible role associated. Now let me unassign the policy. So I can click on this unassign compliance policy, and I'm gonna unassign the STIG for rel 8, and then we can see unassign it. And I can do the same for rel 9, unassign compliance policy, unassign, that's it. This was unassigned. Basically what we did here was return to the original state. Let's suppose that I have no configuration at all about the SCAP. We know that we have some left over on the content host, like the cron job and the package, but let's assume this is a brand new configuration and we are starting this from the beginning. As I mentioned before, you can do the manual steps. You can assign this configuration directly to the content host. This is what we did for rel 8 and rel 9. Or you can use HostGroup. So right now, we'll be using HostGroup. I have another video here in the channel talking about host groups, but that one is specifically focused on provisioning. In this case, we'll be using host groups for security and compliance stuff. So how can we do that? Configure host groups. You can see that there is no host group at all. Let me create my first host group. This will be host group STIG rel 8. I know that my purpose here is STIG. My goal is STIG for rel 8. See, I'm gonna set my SCAP server here. I don't need to set this SCAP server on my content host. Eventually that configuration will be there, but if you are using host groups, you don't have to worry. Just hit this one here and that's it. Ansible roles. Remember, you don't have to go to the client and enable this role anymore. You can just assign this role over here on this host group. And that's it. Simple, easy, like that. Whenever you create your host group and you set the configuration, the SCAP capsule, and the role, we need to do one more thing. Let's come back to hosts, compliance, policy. I'm gonna open policy over here. I will close all of them, yeah. And here, this is a host group for rel 8. This is our STIG, our policy for rel 8. I'm gonna click over there. And now you can imagine, checking all the tabs over here, look this beauty, host group. So I have one host group for rel 8. And then there you go. I'm gonna submit. Don't forget this step, because if you do, this will not work properly. I have now my host group, and my host group is associated with this compliance policy. With that said, what I can do is just come here, pick my server, look that my host group is empty. I can select this guy, select action, change group, and I can pick that host group and submit. Okay, now my machine is associated with this configuration or with this host group. Is this gonna deploy automatically? No. As we mentioned before, let me keep this one here, and I will change the policy on purpose just to see that value changing. So compliance policy, rel 8, schedule. Let me put 0 here. There are two ways that you can do this. One is I can pick this server and I can run all the Ansible roles. Similar idea, but now I have my host group associated with this machine. And based on the host group configuration or roles on the host group, this machine will be able to execute the roles that are assigned with the host group. The way that I prefer the most is this one. We can access the host group from here, configure host groups. And whenever you have this host group, you can see there is one host assigned. Click over here, run all Ansible roles. What is the beauty here? If I have, at this moment, I have just one host, but let's say that I have 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, doesn't matter. I can just click on this button, run all roles. What this is gonna do is this will put all the servers in that list and will execute all the roles that are available to this specific server. And voila, we can see here that the information is now different from before. That is 0. This 0 was not there. And this was updated just because we were able to deploy this configuration via Ansible roles. Cool, let's come back to the host. Let me show one more thing here. As before, we said Ansible, and there is no role here assigned because this role is assigned through the host group. Because of that, you don't see that information over here. We can click on this view inherited roles, and then there you go. This is inherited by host groups. See, I don't need to go one by one the content host and assign that specific role because this is coming from the host group. Whenever I assign the host group, this will be inherited automatically. Another point is the variable. If you take a look here, this was here before, and probably I see some room for improvement here, but let me show you this. Let me delete. And you remember before when I deleted, the value over there was empty. look at that. The value is still here around, but now this got inherited by HostGroup. So definitely, I believe we can improve this. This will not cause problems to you guys, assuming that you have this information in your host. But again, just to prove the point here, this is coming from the host group, the information that was set on the host group. And this is amazing because now we can do the same stuff. Let me change this to every minute, and then we can see one more time. Compliance, policies, rel 8, schedule. Let me change this to star or asterisks. There you go. Is this gonna get updated automatically? Not now. Only whenever I click on configure, host groups, drop down menu, run all Ansible roles. Now, there you go. A few seconds later, we can take a look on this little guy over here, and we should be able to see like the 0 going away and the star just getting place. There we go. Okay, again, one more time. I spent too much time talking during this implementation. Let me do the same for rel 9. And now let's go straight to the point. We have this host group. Let me create another host group for rel 9. All information I need here, my capsule, Ansible role, add the Ansible role, submit. This is the first step. The second one, I need to come back to my policy. So left menu, hosts, compliance, policies, STIG for rel 9. Let's click on host groups and host group STIG rel 9. Once I assign, I'm okay. I can click on the left menu, configure, host groups. We cannot see any machine over here related to, eventually this will happen. I cannot see any machine associated with this host group. And why is that? Because we didn't assign yet. So let's come back to hosts. See, this is empty. I can select my rel 9, select action, change group, and I can do this for multiple servers, okay? Rel 9, submit. There you go. Now this is here. We have the host group. Let's come back to the host group, configure on the left menu, host groups, and you can see the number over there. Now let me just run all Ansible roles. Same process again, but this will be getting this one updated. And this configuration was totally through the host group. If we come back to the hosts while that task is running, let me double check. Ansible, same idea. There is no role assigned to this machine directly, but I can check the inheritance and we can see this is inherited by the host group. Similar idea. I can click on my variable. See, I have the information here. And once again, I see some room for improvement. But if I get rid of this, this is coming from that specific host group. And that's okay. This is gonna work beautifully. Now to conclude, if we came to compliance reports, there we go. This is still reporting 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes ago. And this will keep running because we have the configuration in place, everything is set up properly. Again, you can assign the policy direct to the host, no need of host group, or you can use host group to do that. Personally, I prefer using host group. If you have your host group already in place, you can think and you can analyze and check if it is possible to assign some compliance stuff in your current host group. Maybe this will fit to your business. If not, you can just assign the compliance, the policy directly to your server without the host group. Just to close this up, we did this one before, and we can see over here like 126 and 130. See, 126, 125. Yeah, the difference was because we fixed those problems. And that's it. Basically, this is the best way ever to be working with OpenSCAP. I'm gonna clean up this one. Let me get rid of this filter and show you one more time. See, now you have a complete report. You have the number of passes, failed, and other over here. You have the name of the server in question, you have the name of the capsule or SCAP capsule, SCAP server, when this was executed, the ID. So definitely a nice information that will help you with this compliance report and compliance analysis in a way that you and your team will be amazed. I can promise you that. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, allow the notification. Also, feel free to join us in our Discord channel. I truly believe that you enjoyed this content. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any other requests. I'll be more than glad to be working on it. See you later. Take care. Bye.